Building approvals crash by 17%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at a latest release from the ABS about building approvals. Now, this is important for all of us to keep an eye on, well, because lots of us are in the construction sector, but also if we think back to, let me just bring up this chart here, when our government came to the rescue and juiced up the housing market to keep the economy moving, well, they did home builder, didn't they? And you see the little blue line in that chart there, see that line just skyrocketing up? That was detached housing approvals. And now, if we have a look at building approvals, let me find that right here. There you go. We can see dwelling approvals, that includes units as well, has come right down. See, we've off the peak now. It looks like we're heading, well, to normal, or what it was previously. And the concern is that the projects that were brought forward for home builder will mean there'll be a lack of work coming up. And, well, you know what that'll mean? A lack of supply, as well as builders going bust left, right, and center in the resi sector. Yeah, guys, it's going to be a problem for residential housing, particularly with an increase in demand due to increased migration and the return of international students. And, you know, I see people in the comments going, why would you live in Australia? Australia's a pretty good bloody country, guys, okay? It's awesome here, except for the weather sometimes. So let's look at this. So building approvals, the number of dwelling units and the value base of them approved. So total dwelling approvals fell by 17.2%. Private sector houses rose by 0.7%, while private sector dwellings excluding houses fell 43.5%. And the value of non-residential buildings fell 22.6%. So this is where we've had a huge fall, is in the multi-res apartments, those type of things. So total dwellings approved fell 1.5%. Private sector houses were flat, while private sector dwellings excluding houses fell 3.6%. This is the trend estimate. So if we look here, dwellings approved, seasonally adjusted, the total dwellings was down 25.9%. Private sector housing over the year was down 17.4%. Private sector dwellings excluding houses was down 43%. So over the year, all parts of the residential sector are taking a beating. But you've got to remember, particularly for these ones here, these guys, we're looking at the home builder effect cooling off too. So, and here we can see the trend as well. Down, down, down. And this is the chart. So it looks like we're returning back to what we had here. Now, the concern is if it will keep going, everyone. If it will keep going down and then puddle around here and then come up again. Because, you know, this here, is it this work here that's been moved back in time? That's the question, guys. Is that what we're looking at here? Future work that's been brought back in time. And it's overheated the market, driven up the costs, caused a series of builders to go bust left, right, and center. Was it worth it? This is the thing. Whenever the government starts giving out their candy, giving out their grants, giving out their free money, you've got to ask if it's worth it. And I don't blame people for taking it, but remember, home builder, this is the number of people that were taking it. 26,000 in Queensland, 23,000 in New South Wales, 35,000 in Victoria. And what for? 15 grand? It's not about the government getting you into a home or making you feel happy, you know, giving you a deal. It's just about, well, keeping the economy moving, and they use housing for that. That's a tool that the government uses, both sides of the aisle. So here's a dwelling approval by type, and you can see the private sector houses have most certainly come down from their peak, and, well, private sector dwellings excluding houses are definitely trending down. So we're heading down here, and we're heading down here. Now this is concerning because it's the future pipeline of work. When you're in the construction sector or when you're in a consulting sector, if you're playing in this game, in the multi-res or the residential housing, if your pipeline of work starts to get quiet, then you could be in trouble. And what we've seen with a lot of these builders that have gone under, they were pretty much running it like a dodgy Ponzi scheme, using funding from other clients to keep projects moving, and they burned out and they couldn't keep it going, so they all fell over. What do we have here? The seasonally adjusted estimate for private sector houses fell yet 0.7. And here's by state. Okay, let's have a look by state. New South Wales. Total dwelling units approved, and this is the monthly change, down 16.2%. Victoria down 17.4%. Queensland down 13.7%. South Australia up. Why is South Australia up 19.2%? Why is it that different? I guess, I mean, the numbers are half of what the other states are, but still, Western Australia down 36.9%. Tasmania down 14.5%, and nothing's ever built in Northern Territory or ACT apparently. Well, they don't have data there. Now you've got to realize, guys, this is going to cause supply issues in the future. This is going to come back and bite us. This is what happens when they overheat the market. And here's the trend summary by state. Yeah, well, there you go. Down, down, down. And the value of approvals, monthly change down, up in alterations and additions, slightly up, 0.8. It's a little bit. Total residential building is down, non-residential building is down 4.4%, and total building is down 1.8%. Here's the value of buildings approved. So, yeah, residential, a little flat with the trend line, non-residential going down. There we go. So, this is the sector that, I was hoping the non-residential would provide some buffer for the residential sector, cooling off a bit. You know, the trades could shift. We'll have to see what happens. And there you go, guys. So let's have a look. What's the media release take on this? Approvals for private sector houses remained steady. Only 2 states had a decline in approval. WA, yep. Okay, not really much else. So let's have a talk about this one. I can't say I'm at all surprised. I don't think anyone will not have expected this. We all foresaw this coming, particularly when the government overheated the housing market. Now there's going to be a cooling off of it. Now we just have to hope that this doesn't send even more builders over the edge when we have an increased demand for housing kick up in the next 6 months or so. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you're in the game, guys, you need to prepare. You need to make sure you have enough cash flow coming in. You don't need to stretch yourself too thin. But, I mean, this is what happens. If you juice something up, if you artificially stimulate a sector of the economy, it's going to come down. It's not going to be the good times forever. You know, it's just like any other market. They've intervened in the market. They've brought projects forward. Now we're returning to normal, and we may even get below normal. And perfect timing for the increasing construction costs coming from the building code, isn't it? Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, where I discuss international news or different tools and software that I use as an architect on a day-to-day basis. And if you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. Financially on YouTube or Patreon. You can use our referral links or buy our pocket squares and call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays.